pound boxing, the voice of a new generation.
Wait, look who's back. It's knowledge. Let's do this the right way.
This is pound for pound boxing.
The voice of a new generation.
No back, no punches.
No punches.
And we're gonna get in. First of all, welcome back, Knowledge, for the weekend that you're here. We're gonna get back into the old swing of things. We're gonna go through the results of the fights that we saw this past weekend. We have Vic Darchinyan versus Jorge Arce. TKO for Arce, TKO for Darchinyan in the 11th round.
You know, this was a throwback to Vic Darchinyan when he was dominating, decimating people before that Nonito Donaire fight. And I honestly believe that Donaire fight woke his ass up because he's back in it. He's being a reckless machine, a raging bull like his acronym is, and that's it, man. He's back on top of this thing, and I think we got a lot of good things to see from this guy.
I'm going to agree, and I'm probably going to be the one hater, and I'm probably going to get the hate for saying this. But I think Donaire just got a lucky punch in that fight anyway. It was the perfect punch at the perfect time, and it just happened to knock him out senseless.
To me, it was transcendental, like a Tarver Jones punch. That's to me what I saw in that Nonito Donaire fight. He hit the right punch at the right second, at the right minute, and he hit that button, and Vic was down, and it was out. You know, just like Roy Jones, he was out. And that's what that fight was to me. And, you know, I mean, Vic is back.
Pretty much.
He's on the attack.
He's one of my new favorite fighters. He's back on my list of
now, what I want to throw in there, I want to see Eric Morrell and Vic go at it. I think that'd be a hell of a fight.
I'm going to have to second that notion. Good observation, Knowledge. Going up to now upcoming fights. We've got Ali Funica versus a friend of the show, Nate Campbell.
I mean, I gotta go with my boy Campbell. Oh, have you really? So I think you know Campbell is gonna be the bit. You know, he's got the experience on his side. I think he's got the power, and you know, I think that he's gonna go in there and impose his will on this kid and do what he does best, and that's decimate people. He likes to destroy people. Nate Campbell, it's your time to shine. Let's do it.
Good luck. Next one, we got Alfredo Angulo versus Cosme Rivera.
I'm gonna go with you know, Cosme Rivera to me is just a guy to see where you're at in your game at this point in time. You know, he's a good hard-nosed kid. You know, a little Mexican fighter that's, you know, he's tough. You know, he's tough as nails. But I think Angulo takes this guy. I think
Angulo takes this one. It would have been a lot better had Mayorga not pulled out of the fight. Yeah. I didn't read too much on it for what he was pulled out for, but apparently he pulled out. Sucks for us this weekend. That was one of the, you know, that was another anticipated fight along with the Nate Campbell, Ali Funica, and Kermit Cintron versus Sergio Martinez. But you know, I'm gonna say this is gonna be a lot easier fight because I was one in the minority that said that Mayorga would beat Angulo.
You know, and I would probably second your motion because I mean, regardless, whatever, when you stick Mayorga in a fight, you're going to get dynamite. You're going to get fireworks. That's the type of cat that he is. And it's all or nothing with Mayorga. And I don't know if Angulo was ready for that type of fight. So, honestly, I would have probably went for, you know, Mayorga. But, you know, it is what it is. Angulo, this is your fight. Take it.
And now moving on to the next one. We got Kermit Cintron versus Sergio Martinez.
You know, Sergio Martinez is an up-and-coming kid. And he's got some mad skills in there. And the only thing I can say is that Martinez, if you're on the inside, you could do your thing with Kermit Cintron, but you stay on the outside, you might get a wrecking machine in front of you.
Sergio Martinez is fast on the outside
as well. He
is quick.
He's very quick.
He's quick and he's agile and he's got power. He's got decent power. The only time he's ever been knocked out was against Antonio Margarito, and now with recent allegations, even that is all questionable now.
It's all questionable, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But I mean, as far as this fight goes, I just, you know, this is Martinez's opportunity to shine, to get a big name underneath him. And Cintron, you are a name, regardless of what you say or anybody else says. You are a big name in 147. But I'm looking at Cintron taking this fight. Just because the power just is shaking me up. I mean, I'm saying that's the type of power that he does possess. You know, Margarito, we all see he could take a punch. The man walked through Cotto punches like nothing. He takes a punch. So Cintron not knocking him out, I mean, you know, it's to me, after seeing the Cotto fight, I was like, well, damn, okay. You know, I understand that now. But I don't think Martinez got that type of chin. That beard right there is going to be tested in this fight.
We shall see.
But his speed, he's got speed.
This is probably one of the fights to look out for. This is two guys in 147 that are definitely top 10 in the division. And they're going to collide. So all of you guys that want to see some good action, I think this is one of the fights to entertain. Although I think Nate Campbell is about to put a whooping on Ali Funica for a lot of smack talking.
Definitely.
So we'll see. We'll get into that. Next fight, we got Kelly Pavlik versus Marco Antonio Rubio. I think it's going to be pretty much a boring fight. If it should be knockout, if not knockout, one-sided, lopsided decision for Kelly Pavlik. Your thoughts on this one? Why is it even taking place?
Why? Because you need to get Kelly's feet underneath him again. You know what I'm saying? That's
but
basically
out of
what
all
it
the
is.
people at 160, I mean, I would have rather have seen, if you're going to put him back into the ring with somebody at 160, man, they could have enticed Corey Spinks to come up to 160 from 154.
Yeah, he does. But that's a bad style for him. But Corey Spinks will box circles around.
I think it would have been more entertaining. In my eyes, I think it would have been more. Okay, if not Corey Spinks, you could have probably enticed Vernon Forrest to come up to 160 to fight.
But then again, that's a dangerous fight. What you want to do? He just took a nasty whooping from Hopkins, right?
But he took a nasty whooping. But I mean, he's going back to his division.
True. Where he's the king. He's the king at that
And why
division.
are you gonna fight this guy? Well, you know, they're not even the same class together.
You know, when a fighter goes in there and takes a long 12-round beatdown, you don't know what type of fighter he is, what kind of fighter he is within himself. I have all the faith in Kelly Pavlik. I think he's gonna do very well coming out again at 160. But you just don't know. And that if could be something bad. You know what I'm saying? And I think the promoters are doing the right thing. They're putting him in front of a punching bag. Rubio's got that style to be in your face at all times, so that's perfect. That's tailor-made for Pavlik. Is the fact. And Rubio, he's a hard kid, though. He's got, he's got hard punches, but he's going to take an ass whooping. And in my belief, he's going to take a whooping because in this fight, that is the style for Kelly Pavlik, and this is the fight to get to Kelly Pavlik in the mix of things, but
see, in the mix of things, I think he's already in the mix of things. So he does. I don't think he needs.
But you can't throw him to the wolves right away.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to disagree on this one.
It is what it is.
The next one, we got Miguel Cotto versus Michael Jennings.
Same thing. I mean, you can say who the hell is Jennings at 147?
And I'm gonna be the one to put him down for it because I think in this fight, to be truthful, I think in this fight, I mean, we could have had a Kaladi versus Miguel Cotto fight. We could have had. We could have had.
Glady would have been too reminiscent of Margarito.
Okay, we could have had a second Zab Judah versus Miguel Cotto fight. I mean, I don't know. To me,
I know you like to throw your fighters into the fire, so to speak. That's what you like to do right off the rip.
I like to see,
but you gotta ease people in and not just get them killed right away.
People in. I mean, well, again, I don't know too much about Michael Jennings, so maybe that could be maybe partly my ignorance towards him. And what he's done in the UK, and UK fans, if back me up or let me know what I'm doing wrong. Mm-hmm. But I haven't seen anything on him. I haven't seen nothing spectacular. I've searched YouTube and didn't see nothing.
Yeah, honestly, I'm in the same boat. But I mean, I just think that's a name.
I mean, he's done something because he's number one in the ranked by the WO, I believe it was, and so they're definitely fighting for a championship. But I don't know. I don't see it. And Miguel Cotto by knockout, I think.
I mean. That's what it is to me. It's just to get our big time fighter. Bob Arum's got to get his two money making machines.
Okay, but then here's another thing. I'm gonna have to throw Bob Arum under the bus. All right, because this got to be the most bullshit pay-per-view. And expect the fans to pay as much money as they want for it.
That's BS, and I agree with this completely. I don't believe you should have this type of fight. Should be on HBO, Showtime, something like that. There's no damn pay-per-view. There should be no reason for a pay-per-view, regardless if it's championship fights. Those are BS championships. I mean, come on now. Let's be real about that. That's not the name brands that we want to see up in there for that type of money that we're going to be dishing out. And that's the thing about boxing that's pissing everybody off. You know what I'm saying? But we'll go into that a little bit.
And again, we'll get into that. Bob Arum, we're coming for your neck, homie. The next fight on that same undercard, we got John Duddy versus Matt Vanda. John Duddy, I think, should win by knockout. Matt Vanda, by fame of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
I mean, come on, man. What kind of... I mean, again, here's another fight that, okay... You want to throw Duddy a bone? Here's your bone.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
But I understand this one because they're still trying to push Duddy along slowly. Right. You know what I'm saying? And they're bringing him up. Whereas Miguel Cotto and Kelly Pavlik are already established and don't need these bones.
Exactly.
Again, I'm just putting myself.
But Duddy does fight a lot.
And I'm the biggest Miguel Cotto nut hugger, but I'm gonna have to jump on my boy. I don't think this fight was any good.
True.
Next fight, we got Anthony Peterson versus Edner Cherry. That's on that same card. This is probably the only fight that I think is actually a worthy fight. Edner Cherry, you got a good, a slick fighter, puncher, got some decent power. There was some hype around him for one time because they said that he punched Mayweather, knocked him out or something like that, and some training or some BS. Fought with Timothy Bradley. Good fight there. Tim Bradley won. I think this is a good test for Anthony Peterson moving up in the ranks. I think this is like one of those, let me see where he's at in progression wise fight. What do you think?
That's what this fight is really about with Enter Cherry does bring that name, but I mean, he should not really compete in there with Anthony Peterson. If Peterson is the real deal, Enter Cherry is not going to be able to compete, and I see.
So you're saying that this is another bullshit
fight, but I mean,
but see, I see this.
But it's a stepping stone fight.
Out of all these,
fights, this is more.
I think this is an undercard fight.
This is an undercard fight, exactly, of a pay-per-view fight. That's what this is.
Okay.
Well, the other fights is gimmies. Oh, here you go. Have fun, enjoy it. Hump. Anyways, let's keep going.
The next one we've got Glenn Johnson versus Daniel Judah Part 2.
I really don't care, to be honest with you.
Man, you gonna hate on Glenn Johnson there? We went all the way to Tampa to see Glenn Johnson fight.
I just mess. No, I think, to be honest, here's another throw me a bone type of fight. Glenn Johnson's gonna walk all over Daniel Judah.
But this is the difference. Glenn Johnson is doing this, I think, on regular ESPN or something like Versus or regular fighting if it's on TV at all.
Glenn Johnson's gonna smoke this kid because his experience is far too up there. Daniel Judah is not in that caliber of fighter that can handle Glenn Johnson. That Road Warrior is battle tested and keeps on fighting. That is another damn Energizer Bunny. He's in there. He's in your face 12 rounds, and we saw that fight. I mean, and I honestly believe that the new face of 175 is Chad Dawson. And in that fight, Glenn put it on the man, but he didn't win that fight, man. We said that many times. Chad Dawson did win that fight, but Glenn Johnson tested that man's chin over and over and over. And Daniel Judah is not.
And we were at the crowd. And we were there. We were there.
Believe that.
We saw it live.
Saw it live. We were there, and there are a bunch of people that chatting Johnson out. Glenn Johnson. We're like, nope. We could have got hit on, but so be it.
So Daniel Judah's not gonna win. Daniel Judah getting knocked out. I say just getting knocked out via Zap Judah. How's that?
Ooh.
Getting the next one. We got Juan Marquez versus Juan Diaz. Your thoughts on that one, Knowledge?
That's gonna be a very tough fight for both cats, honestly. I just don't think that Juan Marquez is really at 135. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. I think he's still small for that weight class. But the fact that you have Juan Diaz, who even though he throws 100 punches in that fight, doesn't have that nasty pop, and that's gonna be in favor of Marquez. So honestly, Marquez might win this fight.
I'm looking at Marquez by knockout.
By knockout?
By
knockout.
Might happen. And the reason, by knockout or
late decision.
Or one-sided beatdown like Nate Campbell did to Juan Diaz when they fought. And the reason I'm saying this is because, just like Nala stated, they're going to be fighting. Juan Diaz is going to throw 100 punches per round. But I think harder, accurate combination punching.
That's on Marquez.
It's all Marquez.
Now combination punches. Now Juan Diaz has combination, but doesn't have the power to back up that combination.
But the way Marquez throws these combinations,
it's sick.
I mean, he's got some sick combinations.
Yeah,
I mean, they're pinpoint accurate.
Definitely.
Whereas Juan Diaz has some good combinations. Marquez's combinations deadly on the inside, and it's a wrap. And
I think it's gonna be a hell of a fight. It's good. It's time to get, who's the better macho, as a ring announcer always say, king is más macho. But, I think Marquez in this fight, honestly. Decision for me.
And, and this is just a shot at y'all haters. This doesn't determine no lineage or anything.
Hell no.
So y'all little stupid guys that are always arguing about the lineage is on this fight. Juan Diaz versus
we all know who the man is.
Yeah, he's fighting against Ali Funica that two weeks before. So y'all can stop tripping on that shit. The next one is we got Chris John versus Rocky Juarez. Your thoughts on that fight?
I'm going Chris John all the way. I mean, I'm not gonna go against that Filipino kid. He's not Filipino. He's Indonesian, I believe. Indonesian. That kid is gonna walk. I mean, I won't say he's gonna be walking a park with Juan Diaz, Rocky Juarez, excuse me. But Rocky just seems to be taking all these big fights, and he never got to that fight. He was just thrown in the wolves, and he never was able to keep winning. You know, he just keeps taking these big fights, and it's good, man. I like the fact that he gets in the ring with these guys. He is a fighter, but man, Chris John.
Who was the last guy he fought? He had a really good showing on one of his last fights.
It was Barrera too.
No.
It was Marquez.
I can't remember. You guys correct me on this one again. I'm slipping. It's midnight. So you guys
it is midnight. It's late as hell.
So
we've been drinking.
My mind ain't functioning properly, but I believe it was his last fight that he had a very good showing. And if he didn't come back out to knock somebody out and win, it was something along those lines. Was it against the hyena?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're right. The hyena.
Is it the hyena?
No Argentinian kid.
So that was a good fight where he came back and got the knockout to win when he was down in the dumps.
Yeah.
So look.
But I'm looking at Chris John.
I think this is gonna be a good. Well, Chris John is a fight. This is, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
126 or 130.
I think it's at 126, and I think it's in the States as opposed to overseas.
It could be a very interesting fight. The fact that Rocky's gone down from weight. Remember, which we always said that Rocky goes down in weight at 126, he will actually be very good at. Because 130, man, it was just too much weight for him. And the type of caliber fighters that he was fighting at 130, just out of his class at that point. But, you know, coming back down from being at 130, 126.
And fighting the experienced guys that he fought.
It might definitely pan more in his favor, but I'm still going to go with Chris John.
I don't know. I might have to roll with Rocky.
Rocky?
I think I'm going to roll with Rocky on this one.
It'll be an interesting fight.
Okay, now we're going to ask some questions. We got Mr. Joe Bone from the UK has some questions from us. You want to know if a prime Roy Jones, beats a prime Joe Calzaghe. This is a fight that we were actually watching today again, just to relive the moment. So, what do you think, Naj?
I mean, you know what? I hate these type of questions.
And I do
because
too.
I hate the what ifs. That's like, you know, Ali versus, you know, Tyson. I hate these type of fights. You know, who in their prime wins who in their prime. You know, I went for Jones in this last fight against Joe Calzaghe, and I never do that, man. I never go against Calzaghe because I always liked Calzaghe from years ago. But the reason why I did it was because of Jones' speed, the fact that he was incredibly aggressive back when he was in his prime. I mean, he was a beast in that ring. You know what I'm saying? And I would say prime to prime, I would have to go with Jones because Jones' speed was just phenomenal. He did things in the ring that nobody's ever done in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I see how Joe Calzaghe is right now. And he's been winning these guys, but these guys are out of their primes, way out of their primes. And he's done what he needed to do. I'm going to give Joe that.
And who's to say they were at prime? I don't think Hopkins was out of his prime by any stretch of the
imagination. You know, some fighters do get in their prime later on in their career, and I think that's the thing with Hopkins. That's why he was able to do what he did with other people. You know, but you know, Calzaghe's very good. And I'm not going to deny that.
And I'm with the same as knowledge over here. You know, I got the same idea as him. The whole who would have fought who in their prime. Guess what? They never fought each other in the prime. And we're not taking a shot at you, Mr. Bone. It ain't against you or nothing like that. The reason we've never, and we'll make it obvious, we've gotten hundreds of emails. Why don't you talk about so-and-so in his prime? Why don't you talk about the greatest fighters of the 70s, the 60s, the 50s? Again, this is for all you guys so you can listen one more time. We weren't around during the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. And what kind of pisses me off, and knowledge, sometimes we're watching boxing, and you've got Max Kellerman quoting some fighter from the 30s or the 40s. Well, no disrespect to those fighters of that time, but none of us were around to see them fight.
Exactly.
So to bring them out right now and compare, that's comparing apples to oranges. First of all, nobody remembers. Not even the people that were there. I mean, they saw the footage. Granted, you can see a million fights on TV and a million fights online. But then, can you do this? Can you remember when Mayorga versus Fernando Vargas fought? What happened when they were initially supposed to fight? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember what happened.
They didn't fight because Fernando Vargas
had too much weight.
Had too much weight. There was the rumor.
Yeah.
But then they also said his iron count was low.
Yeah, his iron count. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of outside factors before it led into that fight. We don't know any of those outside factors. We don't know if Sugar Ray Robinson had problems with a gambling debt or something and said, hey, you know, I got to take this fight.
You're right. You're right.
It's
so nostalgic.
Not to say that he did or anything like that. Not what I'm trying to get at. My point is, we weren't around to know the whole story. Right. So why talk about it and make up stories about it? Yeah. It's of no point, and it's irrelevant. Right.
It'll be secondhand at that point.
Exactly.
You know, it's not firsthand point of view. So I mean, why even talk about it? It's so nostalgic that's why boxing is suffering the way it is, because people want to relive those glory days and not move on with what we have in front of us. And what is in front of us is some very good contenders, very good fighters. But the way boxing is going to transcend into the next future, into the future, is by focusing on these fighters now and what's going on now. And that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? And I hate that, you know, everybody was always saying, oh, you know, that's why UFC is taking over. UFC is not taking over. It's just they're focused on this fight has got limited history. They don't have the type of history that boxing has. Well, we start way back in the way. But it's the people that are pushing boxing and the people that are pushing UFC, they got two different mindsets. You know, boxing people are nostalgic. They're about yesteryear and not focused on now. And that's where pound for pound boxing comes in. But we're talking about now. We're not going to talk about yesteryear fighters. Damn that. We know about them. But it's not, we're going to take all the video footage on yesteryear fighters. Damn that. So
to answer your question, who wins between a prime Roy and a prime Joe?
Don't matter.
They both fought and Joe won.
Joe won. It's in the books. That's it. It doesn't matter anymore. It's
all right. So go on to the next one. We're going to answer quickly this one. Can Hatton beat Pac-Man? I think Hatton can.
He thinks he can. I think no, because I think Pac-Man's at a different level in his mindset right now. He is too confident in his game. He's aggressive as hell, and Hatton's never fought anybody like
we'll get into that.
But we'll get into that later.
The next one, you've asked us who would win between B-Hop and Kessler. I think that would be a great fight to happen right now. And I'm leaning towards B-Hop just because B-Hop, he's on top of his game. And whenever you think he's down in the dumps, he finds a way to win.
He finds a way to win, but not only that, but Kessler's never fought a guy like B-Hop. And Kessler's another, you know, he's another Kelly Pavlik, another Tito Trinidad. He's a straight-up fighter. He's going to fight. He's got beautiful combinations. He's got decent defense. But he's never fought a guy who could go in there, rough you up, punch at you.
Take your heart.
He just takes your heart. That's what B-Hop does. And I've never been a big-time B-Hop fan. You could ask him. I hated B-Hop for a long time. But I respect what the man does in the ring. And to me, Kessler doesn't do anything to him. I think B-Hop destroys him.
And then the last question Mr. Jabone has, if David Haye was American, would he have fought for a heavyweight title by now? I think what they're doing with David Haye was beautiful, the way they were pushing him along. To be truthful, I think right now, they're pushing him too fast to Klitschko. I would have liked to have seen him fight 3 or 4 more heavyweight fights before he gets to Klitschko. Although, in all fairness, I do think he has a very good shot against Klitschko. And I think if anybody in the heavyweight division can do it right now, I think it's between David Haye, Gomez, and I think that's pretty much it. Who I would say right now.
Those are pretty much the two people that I would call out to say if they could compete with the Klitschkos. But the Klitschkos are
Klitschko, yeah, I think they're in a class of their own.
They're in a class of their own, and they're a beast right now. I mean, you know, the one thing that I could say about David Haye, if he fights Vladimir, is that chin. Vladimir has a weak chin. We all know that. He's been down several times in his career, though his new style is Lennox Remy-esque. I mean, you could say that he is out there with the jab, and he is not. He's fighting a safe fight, but he destroys you while he's doing that safe fight. So that's going to be a very difficult fight, though I think anybody who could beat him right now would beat David Haye because of his speed. But we don't know because we haven't really seen David Haye fight too much in the heavyweight division. We only seen
his last fight.
His last fight, and that's
I mean,
it.
he have like one more before that. But I mean, 2 fights at heavyweight.
I think they're pushing him too fast.
I think I think he's going too fast, and it might end him. You know
what happens with shooting stars, man? They burn out.
So that hopes that answers your questions, Joe Bone. And then now we're gonna go to the news. Joe Calzaghe decides he's finally gonna call it quits and retire. I applaud this man for a great boxing career, for being the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Yes, I said it. Pound-for-pound #1. For all you that hate on him, pound-for-pound #1. Yes, #1. Now, Manny, you can get that title respectively with no arguments from anybody.
Well, he's always had Joe up top, and I've always had Manny up top. So, I mean, he and I always conflicted. But, I mean, it is what it is. You know what? Joe Calzaghe's had a stellar career. He's fought a lot of great names, especially at the end of his career. He fought a lot of great names, regardless if they're in or out of the prime. Does not matter. It doesn't take away from the wins. He is retiring undefeated, and that's very respectable. That doesn't happen too much in boxing, and fighting the names that he fought in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Because if he wasn't really that good, you know, I could take it to the UK. He wouldn't have beat Nigel Benn. He would have beat Eubanks. You know what I'm saying? If he wasn't that good, he would never beat those damn names coming up. And if he wasn't that good, you see Hopkins is still on his game. He wouldn't have beat Hopkins. He wouldn't have beat Roy Jones. But he is that good. And he destroyed Jeff Lacy. I mean, he made that man look so amateurish that Jeff Lacy has not been the same. We could go on and on about his career.
Kessler.
You know, he's held the championship for over 10 years at 168. You know, that in itself is a hell of a feat. It's a mountain to climb. Anybody who's coming back at 168 following Joe's footsteps, it's just going to be... I'm going to put Joe as one of the greats. I have to.
And you can't
it speaks for itself.
You can't deny what he's achieved in this sport. And Joe Calzaghe, congratulations again. We hope you stay retired.
It saddens me that he's leaving, but it's just due.
But again, I hope you stay retired.
Yeah.
You know, don't want to tarnish your legacy.
I don't want to tarnish his legacy. I don't want him coming back.
Sugar Ray Leonard coming back and fighting Camacho and getting knocked out.
You know, or I mean, it's happened time and time again to boxers who are so much in their prime and they retire. You know, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you because you're great. And I'd rather remember what Joe was and not what the last fight that I see him, because you're only as good as your last fight. You know, honestly, and if you get knocked down in your last fight, then it's like, well, you know, he was great at one time. You know, then we'll be all nostalgic.
Then you're going to be talking like people are talking about Roy Jones now.
Exactly.
Moving along. We got the sirens going off. California that laid down the law. Margarito and his manager, or not his manager, his trainer, are both suspended for a year. But the mayor of Tijuana is saying, if you're suspended there, you can fight here.
Well, I mean, money talks and bullshit walks, plain and simple. But, you know.
First of all, what does this do to the career-defining fights? Paul Williams. You know, no, but I'm saying Paul Williams. People say, well, he's beat Margarito.
Right.
Well, now if you put into effect that maybe his gloves were loaded, then now it's like, damn, he was able to beat Margarito with his gloves loaded.
Right.
Then you've got fighters like Miguel Cotto. Well, did he beat Miguel Cotto with loaded gloves or without loaded gloves? Sergio Martinez, Kermit Central. A lot of guys now, you know, makes their losses look okay, or makes their victories, in the case of Paul Williams, look even better than what they were.
Yeah, right. Quite honestly, the problem with this now is that Margarito's tainted. Whether he loaded the gloves or not, in any of those fights you just mentioned, it's tainted career now. I mean, quite honestly, it saddens because it's a black eye for boxing. If you want to say that. I don't say that shit because boxing is boxing. Boxing's always going to be here. But, you know, all the professionals and all those people are going to say, oh, it's a black eye for boxing. You know, whatever. It is whatever. But, you know, I think that Margarito and his trainer, they know the truth. And it's on them. It's on their conscience now. You know what I'm saying? Nobody else. Fights are in the books. It's done. I mean, there's nothing. The books are closed. But it taints your career. It taints who you are as a person. I mean, quite honestly. And it is what it is.
It is what it is. That sums it up the best.
It's on you.
I don't have anything else to add. I'm just gonna have to agree with what Knowledge said on this one. The fight happened.
Yeah.
People are now gonna see it. You know, they're gonna see it as an asterisk fight between the losses and wins.
Everything's questionable now. Everything's questionable. Your wins, your losses, everything is questionable.
So now, I mean, hopefully he can rebound from this somehow.
I think he'll rebound after a year. I think he'll do his thing, keep fighting. But, I mean, I don't think the public won't respect him as much. You know what I'm saying? His true fans will respect him, and the other fans are going to hate him. That's just plain what's going to happen.
So it is what it is. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed Knowledge coming back and doing the show. Guru took the week off this week. And hope you guys enjoyed it. If you like what you see, you know, do subscribe. Look out for some future things that we'll be working on. And then we've got in the works behind the scenes that we haven't thought out yet. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please hit us up. Let us know what you think. And that's it. Najee, anything else you want to say?
Yo, it's good to be back in the show. Where's my homeboy?
All right, here. So hope you guys enjoyed. Again, this is Pound for Pound Boxing.
The voice of a new generation.
Pull back, no punches.